Welcome back to the second video of my series of I have way too many hobbies. So here's one I picked up at the Jared Value Center. It's one of those places where you drop off donations and they sell it to raise up money for their charity. In this case, it's for people with mental disabilities. Same people who actually run the store and so forth. Pretty interesting. I picked this up for $3 and there was a sticker on it saying you get this as is because they couldn't test it. It turns out that I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't going to make a video about this because when I decided to start making videos, I had already figured out what the problem was. It was a MOSFET that was needed to be replaced, and when the piece arrived, I replaced it. So I don't have a video of me doing anything else, like doing the diagnostic and repairing it. It's just here, it's done. But I decided to make a video because this turned out, as I did research, turned out to be a far more interesting little computer than I thought. So it's not very powerful. It's running it's part of the HP T5000 series. Okay, the processor is a Transmeta Crusoe. That turns out, we're going to talk about that because that turns out to be a very interesting processor. Now, there's not much to talk about this computer. Right now, it simply has 256 megabytes of memory, just megabytes, but it is a RAM, laptop RAM chip. I do have some older ones that might work with this, so I could probably expand this and put in a 512. I'm pretty sure I have one somewhere. I don't know if I'm going to bother with it. I don't know if it's really worth it. There's also this interesting PCI slot over here. As you can see, this is part of the case here. And then I have the other part sitting over here under stuff, so I'll just leave it there. So it doesn't look like you could really put anything or plug anything into this card, but it turns out you can. There is a part of like an adapter case that's larger. It allows you to plug something in and fit and close everything in. This is the speaker, which you're seeing connected. Let me just put this down. Now, what makes this interesting to me, we'll start off with the power supply. Let me just run this HP system while we're doing that. The power supply is simply a 12-volt supply. The computer will run at 48 watts, maybe a little higher. I think it can run all the way to 60 and it can run less. That's interesting to me. This seems like a little computer I could maybe put somewhere in a corner and have it run. I'm not really sure what. Maybe a home assistant. I don't know. Something really doesn't require a lot of power, you know, instead of trying to get my hands on a Raspberry Pi or something like that. Now, the 12-volt thing is interesting, but what's the most interesting to me is the Transmeta Crusoe processor. From what I read online and what I was understanding is that on a normal computer, you write a program, you compile it into machine code, and then you just run it off the chip. Well, the operating system gets involved, but it runs right off the CPU, right? In this case, it's not quite like that. The CPU instead works like a virtual machine. You compile your code to machine, and then when it sends it over to the CPU translates it to whatever CPU it can support. In this case, it looks like it's an x86, right? Because it's running Windows XP embedded, of all things. Now, I find that interesting. There's no information I could find where it tried to emulate any other CPU, like maybe an ARM or something. Maybe these things are too old for that. An ARM just wasn't as much of a thing. I don't know. But I still thought that was interesting, and it leaves things open to possibilities. Now, I don't want to use this the Microsoft XP. I don't know much about it. I was thinking of putting something else on it, or maybe I'll just keep it. I don't know. It depends on what I decide to do with this thing yet. And it looks like it was originally used as part of a dumb terminal, connect to a server, I guess, to do whatever, and there you go. Now, on the articles I was reading, and this was an older article, the author installed successfully Tiny Core Linux and had no issues. But this article was written 5-10 years ago, so I'm not sure how the latest version would work, but I think it would be worth giving it a try. The biggest issue I'm going to have is 256 bytes of memory. I might look at expanding it. I might have to go through and see what I've got. And it's also got 256 megabytes of flash. So that's your hard drive. And that's not a lot. You can't do much. So I might look at plugging in maybe an SSD, removable, something USB in the back, and see what I can do with that. Or maybe I'll make use of this PCI slot over here. I'm not clear. I know I don't have anything that would for a hard drive, but I could look into it, I guess. Anyways, this is my second video about this little sucker. The next future videos where I do repair something, I'm going to try to remember to begin documenting the diagnosis and the repair process so I can at least see it. And I don't know if anybody has any ideas what I might be able to do with this thing. I'd love to hear from you. So just leave something in the comments, okay? Thank you very much. And notice the lack of room. I'm running out of room. I really am. So I'm going to have to figure something else better out. I got the whole kitchen table downstairs with a big Lego car I'm building. So even that's unavailable right now. Anyways, thank you very much. Have a good one.